What is it that you like about Portland? What keeps you here?
What keeps me here is small town, great culture, great food. I've been here 30 years.
Yeah. Take a walk in downtown Portland with Nitin Rai, and you will hear the entrepreneur go on and on about his wonderful adopted hometown.
Yeah, because I've never lived this long anywhere, ever.
Nice. But even more than the place, he's fallen in love with the people.
This is something that I will do till the day I die. You know, it's just, I love helping young entrepreneurs and having create businesses and then repeat that. That virtuous cycle of give back is very important to me.
Rai leads an investment fund called Elevate Capital. It has two divisions which invest in very young companies. It's called angel investing. One of the divisions will only put money in companies started by women, veterans, or minorities. It's a group that finds it especially hard to gather startup money, as it was for Nitin Rai back in the early 90s.
And I had no money. I had $1,000 in my bank account. So I was consulting with Mentor and one other company. And back in those days, there was no money for a guy like me. I wasn't part of the Arlington Club, or I wasn't networked into anything.
Rai was born in India. His parents put a high value on education. His mother had 2 master's degrees. They sacrificed for the children's education.
So I really immersed myself in my education, and my mom had to sell her jewelry to pay for all this expensive schooling.
Nitin wanted to be a doctor, not a businessman, but he could not get over his fascination with computers and ended up with a computer science degree. That eventually led him to America and Silicon Valley. After a brief stay, he moved on to Mentor Graphics in Beaverton.
I guess at Mentor is when I first faced racial bias. Silly things like, oh, you're just an immigrant, or you're an ignorant immigrant, why don't you go back to where you came from? And my response was, well, you're from stupid state, New Jersey, why don't you go back where you came from? So those kinds of things.
In the early 1990s, Nitin went to the eye doctor and was stunned to see a software program the doctor had created himself.
Allowed the doctor to use the computer chairside, put all the medical information, but I would actually use a computer as soon as I walk in. Instead of filling out an intake form, I just put it on the Mac. So I was just blown away with it.
Rai bought the rights to the program and launched his business, First Insight. Over the past 25 years, he's learned enough lessons and earned enough money with the company to begin investing in others.
For us, diverse teams make the biggest difference. They produce much better outcomes.
His Elevate Capital Fund made a bet on Paula Hayes and her makeup company for African American women called Hue Noir.
It's my geeky chic way of saying shades of color.
She has a chemistry degree and an MBA. And when her husband got a job at Nike, she ended up in Beaverton with a dream of starting her company. 3 years ago, she met Nitin Rai, who made a small investment to help her go to the next level.
He also just gave me, I think through his words and his commitment, just the confidence that I could go and do what I needed to do. But he's always there. He's always around to have a conversation with, and it's been that way since that very first day.
Being an entrepreneur at a small company can be lonely and frightening. Rai shares the ride with his entrepreneurs.
It's almost as if he's going through what you're going through. I mean, he's really invested that way. He really wants to understand what's going well. He wants to understand the problems. He wants to help with any advice he has.
Rai said Elevate Capital raised $13 million and invested in 36 companies over the last 3 years.
85% of our investments are in women and people of color and minorities.
Another one of those companies is Garden Bar, started by Anna Schaud, who recently sold to a Seattle company. She said Rai helped with finances and more.
A lot of guidance, mentorship. He brought me access to resources that I didn't have before. But I think the most important thing, it brought me the confidence that I didn't know that I have when I was starting out.
Rai said the investors in his fund are motivated to help startups that may be overlooked by traditional startup funding.
They love the idea of making an impact and seeing the result of it, because none of us need a huge return. We're not investing in these little companies, in these seedlings to become rich, but it's rewarding because we're successful people, right? We don't need the money, but it's rewarding to see the change and the impact that we make.
And he does more than run that angel fund. Rai is also the international leader of a group called TIE, It was started by Indian entrepreneurs in Silicon Valley with a focus on mentoring and coaching anyone interested in starting their own business. It's now spread to Oregon and a lot of other places.
I like to educate. I'm a natural teacher. I love working with young people. Back then, those were the Gen Xers. Right? Today, I work with millennials.
Rai and others also lead entrepreneur groups in Portland high schools to expose the teens to the business owner's way of thinking. He also keeps an eye out for diamonds in the rough. In the early 2000s, Rai moved part of his company back home to India. When he was there visiting, he read about a young man who lived in a slum but dreamed of going to college. Rai found the young man, paid for his college, and gave him a job. Now that same young man is running the Indian side of his business and has 40 employees.
Not only did he get into a flat, he eventually bought a piece of land with a friend of his, and they built a house or 2 homes. So he owns a house, he's married with 2 kids. This kid is now giving back. So I kept telling him, Gangadhar, I want to know more. I want more of you. He said, yeah, don't worry, I'll take care of it. He himself has now done the same thing with a number of students in that slum. And I have no idea who they are. But he won't share. He said, it's his job. So yeah.
Back in Portland, the mentor and entrepreneur knows the good coffee shops in downtown.
That is a good place.
Yeah.
It's good coffee.
Good coffee, yeah.
For decades now, Nitin Rai has spread the joy of serving others far and wide, an enduring lesson from his parents, who sacrificed so much for their family.
It's not just about yourself, it's taking care of others around you. So I think I just learned that just being around my parents.
Almost through osmosis.
Through osmosis. And my dad just was, and both my mom and dad were always big on, it's not about just serving yourself. It was your life is not about serving yourself. It's about who else are you impacting and making a difference in others. And that kind of has remained with me all these years.
He is making a difference and serving others.
You're creating a better future.
We're creating a better future, yeah.
I'll bet your parents would be proud.